Hello, this is a little tutorial about using external MIDI controllers. At trade shows or events, I often get this question if it is easy to latch MIDI to our plugins like Predator, Blue or RG or Subboom Bass, and it's very easy. I mean, in today's music industry we have a lot of options. We have general MIDI keyboards like this one with a lot of knobs to control the plugins. There are some brands which already have built-in auto mapping, so they already have presets on board for controlling the plugins. Or what you also can do is just use one of the older synthesizers if they have MIDI controllers like this Virus B, which I often use for controlling and changing the presets. The advantage of using external MIDI controller is that you get far more feel in controlling your plugins. So I have built a little groove inside my sequencer, and then I change the presets and the sounds by the flow, and that is what is very nice if you have external controllers. First I do this with the Virus B, and then it controls the Subboom Bass. What makes is that you have far more physical connection to your plugin and your virtual synthesizer. It's also much faster than with using the mouse. So in the flow you can have far more control in changing the preset. Okay, another example in how to control your plugin using controllers. Here we have RG, and I change here As you notice, you have far more textures and far more feel by using an external controller to use your plugins. Another example, even if you have a keyboard with only a limited amount of faders or knobs, like this keyboard with only 4 sliders, still you can do some very interesting things with it. As an example, I take now Punch, and I did address the easy page and using these sliders to control the easy page. And what is fun is that you also can record the controllers into your sequencer, of course. So I will record the changes now, and we also can play it back then. Okay, now I change it. So as you could hear, I changed 4 sliders here, and they are addressed to the easy page. Okay, let's play it back. So using external controllers makes that you can record them on a track or a separate track and even make very special grooves with that. Okay, but how it's done using our plugins? I show it now with using our Predator and a MIDI controller keyboard which has 3 definable MIDI controllers. And as you can see, I used masking tape to point out the most essential parameters. But how to address them? Well, first you go to the parameter, like here in Predator we have the cutoff frequency, this knob is a very important one. We use the right mouse button, and then we said latch to MIDI. I press this, and then I turn the knob, and as you can see, it's latched. The same I can do for the Q, which is the resonance. I say latch to MIDI, I turn the knob, and then it's latched. It's that easy. Of course, and once you have all your settings done, we added here inside Predator and also in the other plugins a little button here. It's called External Controller Setup, and if you click on this one, you can see we have Load External Controller Setup and Save External Controller Setup. And if I press Save Controller Setup, I can save this setup I made now for this X board. Type now X board and save this to disk. So next time you load in a song, you just go here, load external controller setup, you take the X board, and everything is working. So as told before, it's very handy to have the controllers here to change the sound. Okay, press this one solo now. Okay, the controllers which I often used and are for instance this range here, and this is a setup I use very often. For instance, inside Predator we control the cutoff frequency from the filter, the Q, the resonance, and the envelope amount. The envelope amount, how deep the envelope works on the cutoff frequency. So this is the filter envelope amount. And then we have from the filter section also the attack, decay, sustain and release, which is the same as this one here, so I can change it now. And what is also very essential are the amplifier or volume envelope. Attack, decay, sustain and release, I added them here, which control the volume envelope. So other controls I added to it are also from Oscillator 1 the waveform, Oscillator 2 the waveform, Oscillator 3 the waveform. So from up here, now you can see I have a square waveform. I can change the waveform here. Also, what I also added here in the oscillator section is fine-tuning of oscillator 2 and 3. So in case I use, for instance, in this sound here, a second oscillator, and I take a saw waveform, I can detune it. Okay, it's in sync now, 1 second. So this is oscillator 2 and it detunes from oscillator 1. So these are for me, while editing, making presets, what I often use. Filter, filter envelope, volume envelope, and some parameters from the oscillator section. Okay, the saving settings in each plugins are sometimes on a different spot. If you go, for instance, to blue, there we can do the same. You go to an envelope, for instance, and say I want to address the attack. Here I just simply latch to MIDI and I change it here. Latch to MIDI. Oh, sorry, I need to select it. Of course, I need to select the track which plays blue. Also here you can address all the parameters using the right mouse button, and inside blue the external controller setup is inside the global section. So here you can press load and save the settings you have. Okay, the sub-boom bass. Here we have sub-boom bass. There we have here inside this section here the external controller setup. So also here the same story, latch to MIDI, and once you have a nice setup, just save to your disk. Inside RG, we added it on this spot. You have to click on the Rob Papen logo, and then you see the back panel, and there we have also the external controller setup. Save or load your setup is selecting here. So each synthesizer, and also for RP-verb and RP-delay, you can latch MIDI knobs from any keyboard to the plugin. You can find this also back in your manual. If you click on the manual icon here, it opens, and then you can find it in the control section part, which is here. There it's also described in the control section, external controllers.